Aston Villa are the only English club in any European competition left, and former players have been speaking to former players. You're watching Foot and Mouth. Welcome back to Foot and Mouth. Ethan, how are you doing?
Weirdly enough, I'm pretty happy. Liverpool out of there, Man City out of there.
It's been a nice week for United fans, and they hadn't had to play a game for it to happen.
Those are usually the best weeks. But we do have a big week coming up in the FA Cup this weekend. But yeah, what do you want to start with?
Let's start with the news. Obviously, first thing that I said was how Villa are the last remaining English club. Guys, Man City and Arsenal dropped the ball. I don't know if you all saw.
I predicted both.
You did.
I prayed for this and it happened.
You know what's funny is, did you see? I saw Micah Richards. They showed. I saw a clip of him predicting the eventual outcome of the Champions League, like from the quarters.
Was he right?
He was wrong about every single round.
Okay.
But basically the exact same predictions as mine. I thought Atletico were going to go through. I thought Barca was going to go through. I thought Arsenal and City would go through. None of those happened.
Do you want to know why?
Do I want to know why?
Yeah.
Tell me.
Because the Premier League's not as good as you think. Look, I know a lot of people are saying that, and I think to a certain
It's a
extent,
fair
yes,
argument.
it is a fair argument. We for years we've gone on about like how, hey, you play any game from 1st to 20th, and it's a tough game. But when you see things like this, and I mean especially like Liverpool to Atalanta, who are like 6th in their own league.
Well, I think even you could look at again domestic.
Yes, even
domestic
like
form.
even Bayern with Arsenal. Yeah, Arsenal is a
We were favourites.
different beast when they play in the league. And
We were favourites to go in.
But yeah, I think it is true to a certain extent. Yeah, that maybe we do overhype this league a little bit. I still think we're better than fucking La Liga. I
still think it's the best league, and
Yeah, I still think it's the best league.
In the argument of the Prem being the more difficult league, I always think the easiest thing to do is just say look at your top four. Because in all these other leagues, more often than not, it's a one-club league, which the Premier League has been for the most part since Man City and Pep. But you kind of love that top four battle. But there's no top four hot battles in any other league, bro.
Man City adds to the argument. They win every single time.
They
How is
do.
this not just a Farmers League?
I think because it's so monumental when a Liverpool pulls it off or a Chelsea
Which they've
pulls it
done
off.
once.
But again, remember before City did the three-peat now,
Yes.
they never went on a three-peat because every now and then, again, we can call it a Farmers League, but City have never gone on an 11-season win streak like Bayern or Juventus.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Or
Yeah.
PSG. They will win. They literally have won 2 at most, and then there's a new champion. And when they do win that Prem, there's a different winner in the FA Cup or
So
the
what
Carabao
if
Cup.
they win the league this year?
If they win the league this year and they've done it 4 times in a row,
Yes.
you can still say, you can argue, okay, and now we're pushing Farmers League territory. But at the end of the day, they're going to win it by like 2 points. That's not Farmers League territory, in my opinion.
Okay.
I think that like Bayern, they've literally run away with it. Man City have been running away with it in terms of overall trophy hauls. But you will still get that game where they'll get knocked by Spurs. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Or they'll get a draw against like a club that they just really should be walking all over. And I think that's why a lot of people argue for the Prem. I'm with you in that maybe they are overhyped. I think absolutely they could be overhyped. But I do still think it's the best league overall.
Okay, well, on that note, we Man City did lose to Madrid.
On penalties.
On
Lunin,
penalties.
Brilliant in goal. Bernardo
guess.
Silva.
Yeah, and also did you hear the talk? I was telling you this off cam. KDB and Holland asking to come off.
Yep.
That shows you the mentality. Huh? People. Logan wants to argue that KDB is the best midfielder that's ever played.
I think he is the best central midfielder.
I'm gonna say it. You think Gerrard's asking to come off in before penalties? Huh?
It's a decent
you
argument.
You think Lampard's asking to come off before
I
penalties?
understand the argument, but at the same time, like I said, another thing that I think sets the Premier League a class above the rest is because of the amount of games played, which isn't a good thing. But Real Madrid did have more of a rest before this game. KDB's been battling with injuries this season, and he played in their last game. So I wouldn't be surprised. I was 110 minutes in before he asked to come off. That dude's like 35.
Still
fair play, bro.
Hey, Gerrard was
I
35
understand.
at one point.
I definitely get what you're saying, but at the same time, maybe it's because I'm such a big KDB fan that I'm
are.
kind of like, bro, Take your flower. You just
No, look-
you just captained a treble winning side. You don't have to prove anything
It
to
is
anybody.
a bit of a cheeky comment, but it is also not a cheeky
But
comment.
it- no,
'Cause
it-
it is
it-
true.
it
This
stands.
is such an important point, like point for the team, point for the
does
match.
stand.
You can't be asking to come off, especially when like at that point you know it's going to penalties.
Yeah.
like it's more than likely going
and
to
it
penalties.
doesn't matter if you just want a treble. You should still want it.
And it did come back to haunt them because Bernardo Silva missed his penalty.
That was a
Edison had to step up and take one of his own, which he scored
Solid.
fair enough.
solid.
It
was some proper nice
nice.
penalties. yo. It was there, except for that Bernardo one, bro.
I noticed. No,
You know? Did you see? Sorry, before you go. What's his name? The other Real Madrid goalkeeper. What's his name?
Kepa?
It's either Kepa or it's Courtois. One of them, Bernardo scored a penalty against them in a similar fashion, and he told Lunin that before the penalty shootout, and that's why Lunin saved
I
it.
also
apparently.
saw a picture of like Rudiger pointing which way to go, and that was
Is it?
also and that was
Even
also
that,
the way.
bro. I mean, these City players, the Real Madrid players are just on it.
No, look, Madrid is good for like damn near like 80% of this match. It was just them defending.
Yeah.
And when I know like that doesn't sound amazing in a game like this, you'd expect them to at least go like 50-50. But City is also just so good, and they have so much depth, and like it's tough when you play a team like that because it seems like they never really give up.
And they are machines.
They are machines. Clearly, they're not though. When KDB and Haaland are asking to come off,
That's also true.
but they work so hard that I think honestly, sitting back and defending away from home, that's a tactic. Ancelotti pulled it off. They worked,
that is true.
and I mean they won.
What's interesting and ironic as well is that there's a quote here from David Ancelotti.
Davido.
David Ancelotti and the coaching staff studied Arsenal's defensive efforts versus Man City in the 0-0 draw at the Etihad, and that is what they used as a reference for this game. So they referenced Arsenal's defending.
Okay, not
And then-
against Bayern.
And then Arsenal go.
Definitely not against.
Do you know what
Bayern.
I'll say? On that note, that's also why I'm not at panic station when it comes to Arsenal. We've had some bad games, but if we've been good enough to the point where Real Madrid will reference our performance to play against Man City,
No, without a doubt, Arsenal have been the best defensive team in the league.
It's
Like that's without a doubt.
we've been good. That,
but
and
that still doesn't
that's
take
why-
away from the fucking.
for sure. But that's why I said I just want to say I'm not at panic station, bro.
Before we
I'm
go
not
on
at
to
panic
Bayern
station.
Munich, Arsenal, let's just touch up on Madrid City. Fuck Man City. I'm so glad that they're not going to do a double treble. That was the only thing I was hoping they wouldn't do. And Madrid,
Yeah. Madrid can still do a treble.
I'm fine. Weirdly enough, I know Madrid win it all the time. I'm fine with them winning it again.
Again, to be fair, yeah, okay, they won it 2 seasons ago.
Yeah, but I mean, still,
Yeah.
before that, they would win it like 3 times in a row.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah,
you know what I
Zidane
mean?
did the three-peat, bro.
So I honestly, I'm fine. I would rather have like the massive entity that is Madrid rather than the massive entity that is City.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
That's true. That's true. Madrid is football heritage, a hell of a lot more than Man City is.
Exactly. So yeah, get Madrid. Hala Madrid.
All due respect to Man City, I know Ethan has none, as long as he's got 115 plus reasons why he doesn't respect them. But as long as they have players like KDB, Sergio Aguero, and Yaya Toure in the history, bruv, you can't take away the accolades.
Bayern Munich can take away Arsenal's hope.
This was football heritage. That's what was on display here, bro, over both leagues. Arsenal were the better team over both
I
leagues.
don't even know. When Arsenal win 1-0 down in this game, they didn't do anything.
No, but what I'm saying is, if you look at the stats, the possession, the this, the that, it's not that we played badly.
No.
Like, it's just, like I say,
just-
football heritage.
Yeah,
bro.
Arsenal, they just don't
I
have the
think we
teeth on them
caved.
sometimes.
We caved under
yeah.
the pressure. And to be fair, a lot of people have been criticizing Arsenal, like certain individuals, because they're like, oh, you know, these
Name and
players,
shame them.
these players
Saka.
don't have like the like again, like there've been people criticizing Saka, criticizing Odegaard for not being like match winners.
Yeah.
To which I say they're 23 and they're 22 and it's their first time in the Champions League. Relax.
Owls Kiki Palmer.
Where is he in the Champions League?
Oh, he got me.
And I'm just because that's the thing. Everyone will admit Champions League
got me.
football's harder, and yet when it comes to kids in the Champions League, you have the same expectations as you do of a 30-plus-year-old Bayern Munich team. It doesn't make sense.
No,
we were in with a chance.
You don't have the you don't-
Experience
No,
than
no.
the know-how.
Nobody's comparing you to Bayern Munich. They're comparing you to Arsenal in the Premier League.
No, I understand that much. What I'm saying is everyone is aware that Champions League football is a different breed.
I know.
And yet no one is willing to give leeway to a first-time manager and first-time
No,
team. And that's what I'm saying. I
There's a
understand.
reason
it.
everyone thought all these Premier League teams would go through
Yeah.
because we assume
Because based on domestic
Exactly.
domestic form.
form,
Domestic foom. But yeah, I'm disappointed that we went out. And I'm even more disappointed with the reaction from Bayern's goal because once we went 1-0 down in that second leg,
Dude, they were, even when the subs came on, there was
bro,
like no difference.
apparently we were happy to pass the ball around,
Yeah.
but just no one wanted to pull a trigger or get close to pulling the trigger, bro. And that's why I say I think we caved under the occasion. Like, you absolutely saw on that pitch it was boys versus men, and Bayern never looked like they panicked, bro. Even in the first leg when they did concede, it was just such a composed, professional performance. And Arsenal's team, as much as people don't want to face it or admit to it, they are still very young. And I'm just hoping all that this season's Champions League campaign was about was a learning experience, bro.
Yes.
Saka got a very good first season in. Trossard got a very good first season in.
Season.
Both did nothing in the second leg. Been a lot of talk about people saying that the Arsenal players look cooked. I don't know if I'm just in denial, but I didn't watch that team play and think, oh my gosh, we look fried, bro. Like, I just thought that we looked like a team that nobody wanted to take the responsibility of driving forward with it because we couldn't lose. And I don't think that's a bad thing because that's going to change with time. It's going to change with experience. It's going to change when we get more players like a Jorginho in the team, like a Kai Havertz even. Kai Havertz is young, but he's very experienced.
Maybe even a Sesko.
Maybe even a Sesko, because that's another who fits the mold. He's very young, but internationally,
And also,
lots of
Arsenal need
experience.
to get a striker. Let's
Yes,
be honest.
we do.
We beat around the bush. Everyone is like, oh, Havertz.
In these last two games, I would say Arsenal have definitely been exposed for their need for a top striker.
Big time. Big time.
And
exposed.
it's disappointing because there were tough games and we should have performed a hell of a lot better. I don't even think, like, it's not, none of it's down to one player. Everybody up front hasn't performed in the last two games. But striker, that's your one guy.
But
that
also,
even
like,
if the wingers are slacking, bro.
I will highlight Saka. He hasn't done much.
No, he hasn't. But again,
And it's been a couple games now where he hasn't done much.
I'm still saying that's still another. I'm far from panic station because
No, I'm not panic station, but I mean, is this the difference? You know what I mean? Like this is kind of we in end game now. This is kind of where you need to like.
Is the difference? I think it is the difference, and I think that with the amount of
Is
minutes
this the
that
difference
Saka's,
why Foden is better?
I think Foden has been rotated more than Saka has.
He has been.
Yeah, and I think that's the difference.
But
Saka
it's also
hasn't.
like he's coming in clutch now when
True, but remember we saw in the last game he didn't even come on. He didn't. He was on the bench. He wasn't even on the bench. He was left at home,
they
bro.
saved him for the Madrid game where he did nothing.
Saka doesn't have the luxury yet, and that's why.
But hey, let's be honest. Arsenal do have that luxury. They could just sub him if they wanted. They just always decide to do Martinelli instead.
But the downside is that the drop in quality on the right hand side of the pitch once you take Saka out. Saka's main problem is that he is that good to our. He's that important to the team.
I know, but then you're just running this dude into the ground
And that's the problem.
and making him and therefore in your own argument the team worse.
And that's why Mikel Arteta, his biggest criticism for this season as well, is still man management. He doesn't rotate his team enough. And maybe he doesn't trust the backup option to Saka, which is, again, you ask the question, why did you give Reece Nelson a new contract? But at the same time...
And also Reece Nelson, like 80% of the time he's played, he's done pretty aight.
He's looked
like he
decent,
hasn't
bro.
had like a bad game. You know what I mean?
Decent. But again, Arteta's problem of not rotating enough, anytime you put him on, it's cold legs. Where if you bring him on like how he uses Trossard, anytime Saka does maybe need a rest, Reece Nelson is at least a lot more match fit. He's a lot more prepared to deliver. You know, we don't always need a last minute Bournemouth screamer to save us from detriment. Like, if this dude has a regular run of games, run of minutes, I'm sure we'd all feel a lot more comfortable when you don't see Saka starting. But as things stand, as an Arsenal fan, I can say Saka has to start every game because we don't have adequate backup in his position. I haven't seen enough of the backup. Fabio Vieira is supposed to be able to play right wing. We haven't seen him since he came back from his injury.
The backup is there. It's just that Arteta doesn't want to.
The quality dip, and I can't, because even Arteta himself made the point when he had said, you look at the world's best players, they play every game in a season. If Saka wants to be one of the world's best players, he's going to have to do that. And
that's not a great fucking...
But at the same
you
time...
can't argue that there's too many games and also argue that a player should play every game.
No, I don't think you're wrong there, but I'm saying the best players in the world play every game. The problem is the best players in the world that play every game aren't all 21 years old, 22 years old. And that's why I think, remember, Arsenal are looking for a right winger.
Even so, the best players aren't playing every game.
That was the norm. Look at Man City, bro. Man City, nobody used to rotate. They
No.
only rotated because of injuries, and then Pep started rotating.
Pep loves to
I
rotate.
don't think it's a coincidence that once Pep started rotating, they ended up getting a treble soon afterwards.
Yes, because you kind of should
'Cause
rotate
you
the
rota-
best players.
Exactly. And I'm saying Man City's depth, as even though it's not as good as their depth was last season, it's still better than Arsenal's depth. It's still better than Liverpool's. It's still better than everyone
Nobody's
else's.
arguing that, but we're just arguing. Give the dude a break sometimes.
100%. And Arteta himself is aware of that. But like I'm saying, Saka is too. If you take Saka out and you take away some of those goals, Arsenal are not challenging City for the title this season.
Yes.
Whereas Arsenal have been in the market for a right winger for 2 seasons now. They don't make that wrong decision anymore.
Yes.
So I'm okay with being patient. At the end of the day, Saka also wants to play every game.
Yeah,
As
I
a
know,
manager,
but
you need
you're
to be
gonna
able
end
to
up
manage that.
with Martial, who's injured all the time by 27.
As a manager, you need to manage that, but no one's crying about Cole Palmer. Cole Palmer's playing every game for Chelsea since he joined.
That's a different situation.
Why is it different?
Because Cole Palmer didn't play every game last season.
No, he didn't because he was too young.
No, yes, and also because he's played for Man City, so he just would sub on here and there. Cole Palmer is a very different case.
I guess,
And
bro.
even Cole Palmer at the start of the season wasn't starting every
but
game.
once he'd come in,
Yes, but it's still way less time.
I
Logan.
get it.
It's literally way less time.
Like I'm agreeing with you. Saka needs
so
to.
then
Saka needs a
let's
rest.
end it there. He does need a rest.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is people also need to realize there's a reason that he isn't getting the rest.
And those people understand that reason.
You know what?
And it's still not a good
You
enough
know what
reason.
I will say? If we'll criticize someone like De Bruyne for asking to come off, and you'll go, "Oh, Scholes would never."
Yes.
What about praising Saka's attitude for wanting to play every game?
I do praise his
No,
attitude.
then why can't we leave it there? We
Because-
rather want to end off on criticizing Arteta instead of rather just going, you know what, good shot, Saka. You want to play, you want to push, you want to go for it, go
every
for it.
young player wants to do that. That's not a special thing. That's not a unique idea. But what is a unique idea is being like, yes, you are going to play every game.
I guess. Again, people still underestimate how young Arteta is and how inexperienced he is in management.
No, I know, but
again, I see the learning happening.
so then let's stop it there. We're learning. Shit's learning.
that's
Here's
fine.
something he can learn
That's
on. Maybe
fine.
start subbing Saka
I'd
more.
rather end there than end on a negative of Arteta's doing
You're
the
the
wrong
one
thing.
seeing the negative. I'm saying this is what should be happening.
I guess. I'm sorry. I thought we were landing at the wrong place there. I thought we were landing on just the point of criticism rather than a point of men's is learning. This season, especially in the Champions League, was a learning experience for
Exactly.
Arsenal. First and foremost, before anything else.
And speaking of criticism, though, we've seen a Bastian Schweinsteiger interview with Gary Neville where he,
I think a lot of people have been waiting to hear about this for a while now.
yeah, I'm sure, and I think also to a certain extent, like United is kind of lucky that Schweinsteiger is such a classy guy. You know what I mean?
Very professional,
Because
bro.
if this was anyone else,
If this was Sancho.
dude, like we've had way worse go down for like way less.
Yeah.
Like the dude, this is.
Schweinsteiger had every right to just absolutely.
Because I mean, you saw in the interview at one point, Gary Neville's like, some of this might be illegal. Like
Yeah.
he straight up, I worked with like these people. Some of this shit might have been illegal.
Yeah, he literally know. Like he kept referring to everyone like first name basis.
Yeah.
Because he's like, I know these people. He was baffled by the treatment, bro.
There he was. And look, for those who don't know, when Schweinsteiger was there, it seems like Jose Mourinho didn't want him there at all. He
Banished,
didn't.
bro.
Yeah, he didn't want. I guess he thought he was being paid too much money. He was past it. He didn't really care about the club.
Yeah.
So basically, as soon as the dude came in, I think he had like 1 or 2 training sessions where he spoke about like enjoying playing with like training with Zlatan. And,
Yeah, he
and
was
Rooney.
so happy. He was like, there's these good big mentality players here.
And then I guess soon after that, Jose banishes him to training with the under 16s.
They stopped him at the entrance to the men's locker room, the senior team's locker room. I don't know who the guy's name is who stopped him, but this
Mate.
dude just told Schweinsteiger, the coaches said, you haven't got, sorry,
Logan's getting emotional.
you haven't got any access to the team here. Under 16s are next door.
And-
Schweinsteiger.
And from there, he proceeded to train with the under 16s for like months and months until eventually. So some of the reasons that I guess Jose didn't think he wanted to stay was that apparently at one point during his injury he went back to Germany and German doctors instead of using the doctors they had. So I guess to a certain extent Jose saw that and was like, no, he's not really. Clearly he still wants to be there. He doesn't really want to be not committed, whatever you.
Never mind, maybe he just saw Man United's physio team.
That's. He's got that Raven vision, bro. He's looking into the future. But yes, so
Shocking, bro.
yeah. What do you think about it?
I think that this, you know what? I don't even know if this is a bit of a blemish on Mourinho's record because everybody knows he is a dick. Like,
Yes.
as much as we want to love the guy, I love the guy. As an Arsenal fan, I think that he's a brilliant manager. He's always entertaining. He is a dick. So how much of this was down to his decision making, I don't know. But I just kind of want to start off by like, because there's a lot of people who are kind of just like, wow, shocking from Mourinho. I'm kind of like, is it? You know, I expect him to do some shocking shit. It just sucks that it was the Schweinsteiger of all players. Schweinsteiger wasn't even there under Mourinho long enough to do anything to deserve it. Like,
No, he wasn't.
It seems like it was a personal vendetta.
Yes, and also, it definitely to a certain extent came up from the people above Mourinho.
Yeah, it was way more than Mourinho.
This is definitely like a top-down thing, but Mourinho played his part in it, which is the sad part.
Because the thing is, if it was just a Mourinho decision and the board were fine with, they obviously sanctioned the purchase of him, you would assume that they'd be like, bro, we bought this guy, play him. Or at least get a reason why. You know what I mean? So I think it's easy to pick at Jose Mourinho for this. It's easy to pick at the ownership for this. It is both parties, in my opinion. And yeah, I just think it's very unfortunate because Schweinsteiger did kind of join them in his prime. Like,
No,
how old is he? Like
past
30,
his-
31?
Yeah, I'd say past his prime for sure. His prime was at Bayern Munich, dude.
Well, I mean, he joined you guys like at the same age when Casemiro joined you guys. I'm not saying that they're the same level of player, but at that time, Schweinsteiger was really
No,
good still when he joined
He
you.
was definitely still really good.
Yeah, he was worth being in the team.
There's no doubt about that.
He was worth
but,
being in the team.
I guess, it is tough when you come in and a manager does have this, like, clearly he already had a set image of what he expected from him.
True, bro.
And clearly, I don't know why he was signed then if, like, nobody wanted him there. If everyone thought he was being paid too much money. But, so yeah, eventually though, before he leaves, Mourinho does like apologize and like he's kind of like, sorry, you clearly are like a good guy. I don't know why we treat you like, which I mean, fuck, it's too late now.
I'd rather you didn't apologize.
Yeah,
bro.
to a certain extent, yeah, I would rather you didn't apologize. But yeah, it's a everyone like does kind of highlight Mourinho as like, oh, United
very
did
easy,
it dirty.
Very easy to scapegoat.
But it seems like Mourinho may not have been as clean as maybe people thought.
No, bro, I don't think he was ever. You see this man's demeanor when no matter who he's managing, he's a dick. I'm sorry, he has moments where he's capable of being a wonderful person, which everybody's capable of being.
But we knew he's a dick, but nobody thought he was like an unnecessary dick. We didn't think he was a dick just for like the sake of it.
And that's also why I'm with you in saying that this was definitely at board level. I think Mourinho's a dick, but I don't think Mourinho's solely a big enough dick to do this to Bastian Schweinsteiger. Like, and I believe his apology, he probably meant the apology, but at the same time, it's like, bruh, like.
No, look, come on. Go check the video out for yourself if you are interested.
It's worth a watch.
It's on the overlap. It is worth a watch, and it does highlight more. We've as a United fan. This is nowhere close to the first time we've seen this type of shit happen. It just seems to all be happening now.
It's maybe top 3 worst things in terms of hearing about man management at the club.
Yeah, but we do kind of expect this shit, and that's why hopefully with the new ownership, Ineos, Radcliffe, I know the Glazers are still there. But hopefully there is a change over time at some point.
Yeah, that was another thing I wanted to say. It's good that Schweinsteiger is speaking about it now, and I'm happy he's getting the support. But I think people do also need to remember, what was that, like 7 years ago?
That's a while ago.
Like the people that played the part in that decision, there's probably so few of them left at the club, bro.
Well, we know the Glazers are still there.
Yeah.
And I think there are still quite a few of them there. And I think some of them have left very recently.
Well, either way, it's a different time. Maybe even those
slightly.
owns.
It's a little bit of a different time.
Maybe
the Glazers are still there.
Maybe even the Glazers have learned. You think the Glazers are capable?
But we will see if United's capable this weekend. We've got Coventry in the FA Cup semi-final going to Wembley. We should win it. I know I say that all the time, but this is really, I think if Ten Hag, I say this all the time too, Ten Hag loses this, he's done.
He's got to win it to save his job.
There's more and more talk that, like, you hear one day, oops, he's safe. Next day, players don't like him. Blah, blah, blah. I think
all it takes is a tweet.
Yes, all it does take. But this is a majorly important game. And,
it is.
And as United, we can't go into this. We should go into this thinking like how easy it's going to be. But
you can't take it lightly.
It's probably not going to be easy
because this is a game also we need a performance.
Yes, we do need a performance. Look, I'll just take a result.
True, but it's Coventry. You need a performance.
Yeah, but we've needed performances against other teams too, bro. And
if ever there was a team to do it against,
no, it's too late.
Are they championship or are they below championship?
I don't know, but it's too late. United had to put in performances fucking months ago.
Let me ask you this: Ten Hag gets to the final but doesn't win the final. You think it still helps him that he got there?
Obviously, yeah. But I think if he wants to keep his job, he should win that final.
Yeah.
It's at Wembley. It's going to be massive. Obviously, to Coventry, this is probably like the biggest game of their
Win or
season.
lose, bro.
This is the big. So they've been working for this game. I don't know how far United have been working to this game.
Honestly, they're ready for the vibes, bro.
Yeah, and
These clubs, I mean, when they beat Wolves, huge win for them. I am backing Coventry in this game just for football.
Yeah.
But I can't look past Man United.
no, you can't. I mean, 100%. We should win. Like there is no doubt about it. We should win this shit.
And 110%, you need to win.
Ten Hag needs the win. Look, I do expect a very similar looking team. Whether we see Casemiro in or out,
Start him, bro.
he's probably gonna be
Start
in.
him.
He's the worst season he's ever had.
He's also been speaking.
I wouldn't start Rashi. Yeah, Casemiro has been speaking. I wouldn't start Rashi, but obviously knowing Ten Hag, he's going to start Rashi. Ten Hag loves Rashford. Anthony should be in. Hoyland, Bruno. We've got to get Mount in there. Holy shit, we've got the 60 mil midfielder who hasn't started a single game.
Yeah, well,
literally
to be fair, the players ahead of him, but this is the game to play.
Is McTominay ahead of him?
This is the game to play. No, I mean, who's your
McTominay has
starting
started.
trio?
Is McTominay ahead of him?
Can't argue with the goals.
Can you milk me? But I look Mount.
Yeah, he's not starting ahead of Mainu.
At some point Mount has to start.
He does.
And if it's not going to be a game like Coventry or like Bournemouth, then where is it? You know what I mean? So yeah, get Mount in there. We paid 60 mil for him. Still haven't seen him start a single game.
That's quite. He also had injuries, but the injuries seem to be behind him now.
Yeah, he's been fit for like the past fucking couple of games.
Yeah.
But Ten Hag, this is on you, my man.
You're putting a score on it.
Let's go fucking. I'm feeling good.
Is it at Coventry's home?
That's at Wembley.
Oh, it's at Wembley, of course.
So United's home.
Oh, excuse me, brother.
We will be there in the final.
That's Arsenal's second home, boy.
They're not going to be there in the final though. But I'll go United. You know what? 3-1.
3-1?
Yeah, United.
You think you concede?
3-1.
I'm actually going to say 3-0, bro. I don't think United concede in this
Coventry?
game. I like Onana lately, bro. And I know he's had, in the last 3 games, one dud game. One genuine dud. Like, seriously.
I guess.
Other than that, he's just been a good Premier League goalkeeper.
You see, it helps that United face so many shots that you just have to save like 50% of them,
And
and
your numbers are...
your numbers are up there.
Yeah. Look, I think he's alright. I think 3-0. I think United are more than good enough for a 3-0. Who's the player that liked that sus tweet?
Nacho?
Nacho. Do we think Nacho's gonna get banished from the team? What was the tweet he liked?
No, he just liked to tweet where Goldbridge said that he was kind of the scapegoat.
The scapegoat, yeah. And we know Ten Hag.
Dude, if Ten Hag doesn't start Nacho, look, he honestly might not though.
But that's just the rest. You can rest him. You don't need him to beat Coventry.
Just like you can race Saka.
Just like you can rest Saka. If we were playing Coventry, you can rest Saka, bro.
But yeah, who do Arsenal play? Obviously, that's the FA Cup. United on playing in a league game this week because
it's a bye
of that.
week. And it's a double week for some Premier League clubs.
Yeah, it is.
So, Arsenal are back in action in the Premier League this weekend. It's a double week for Arsenal. First of the 2 games, Wolves away, not so bad. Second of the 2, Chelsea at home. We're going to speak about Wolves today. Good time to be playing them?
For Arsenal, no.
For Arsenal, no, because Wolves can always be tricky.
And Arsenal are definitely having some kind of dip in form or something.
3 games, not good. 3 games, 3 no wins, 2 losses, 1 draw. Quite polar opposites, obviously, at the beginning of the year. But are back, the boys. The only thing we have to focus on now is the Premier League. Declan Rice spoke in a post-match interview where he had said Wolves is the game that we bounce back. I believe him. There's no reason we can't beat Wolves. Even on Wolves' best day, we can do it, bro. The team just have to absolutely pick themselves up. A lot of people are saying we've bottled the league already. It's a 2-point difference. There's enough football left. Anything can happen. City may still be favourites, but again, I'm going to back my boys till the end. And I think we win, bro. I think we beat Wolves. I don't think it's a clean sheet. I think our defense has shown enough that they may... No, actually, no, I'm going back to clean sheet. I think Gabriel and Saliba, now that the pressure is off, we switch on when there's no pressure. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but there is still pressure. You still have to win.
There is
Every game
still
matters.
pressure. I think we can deal with the Prem pressure. I think it was balancing the Prem and the Champions League. May have been a bit much.
Again, though, City don't have to balance it either anymore.
Exactly. And that's why we just have to leave everything on the pitch. Honestly, win, lose, draw, as long as I can see Arsenal performing well again, then there's something to hold on to.
Hold hope.
There's something to hope for. You know what I
you
mean?
go.
So I think we win for me, this is one where we need a win and we need a performance. We need to remind people, fans alike, that this team is still capable of pushing Man City till the end, bro. We started strong. We got to end strong. And yeah, I think the lineup, it's back to basics again. I think the same team that started against Bayern, you're going to see that same team start because Arteta has now, it's like a cut off your nose to spite your face. You know, he rotated at Villa and he paid for it dearly. So yeah, I think it's going to be whatever team starts against Wolves, that's going to be the team that plays against Chelsea. That's going to be the team that finishes the rest of the season. The Chelsea game's going to be huge. I'm not as stressed about them as I am about Wolves, to be fair, because we just cannot seem to lose to Chelsea anymore.
Hey, we're not getting into that.
Yeah, we're not getting into that. So my focus is on Wolves right now. I'm going Arsenal win. I'm going to say 2-0. 2-0 Arsenal.
I'll go 3-1 as well. Same as United. Yeah.
Arsenal do a United. We're not going to get into the FPL because Ethan would rather we don't, and I understand. But the next time we are here, I think there'll be even bigger switch ups. But I will say shout out Rizzo and shout out my damn self because your boy's top of the table. Thank you guys for watching. Let us know what you guys think of the fixtures, and we will catch you in the next one.